In this video, I get to build a nursery. I'm going to be turning this bedroom slash storage area into a Highland cow themed nursery. So stick around and I'll show you what I did to pull this one off. And if you like what you see, leave me a comment or subscribe for more. So first thing I need to do is put up some inspiration and something to build off of. So I found this giant picture of a Highland cow my wife loves, and that's going up straight away so the rest of the room can follow the theme. Now I'm told the better baby sleeps, the better we'll sleep. So the first thing I'm doing is putting up some blinds. This pair I found at Home Depot and they were extremely easy to put up. Pre-drilled some holes for the brackets and screwed them in place. And then the whole assembly just clipped right in. But most importantly, these don't have any strings. Those are a choking hazard around little kids, so definitely going to make sure they're not here. Now it's time for some big changes: paint. This is pretty straightforward. I cut in the edges by hand, and I actually had a hard time with this. I hear lots of people say you can just freehand the edge and it'll come out just fine. I ended up for the second coat going back over that edge with painter's tape just to make a nice clean straight line. That made life a lot easier. Between coats on the walls, I did my first coat of paint on the border trim I was doing, did the second coat on the walls, and then the second coat on the trim. This made life a lot easier later. I could paint the wall real quick with the roller and then hang the painted trim and just do touch-ups later. Now, just like when I hung that picture earlier, I used painter's tape to mark both the center and then level for the left and right hand sides. That made putting this up fairly easy. I just brad nailed the center and then double checked it with a level because this is a measure twice, cut or nail once kind of activity. And then put a nail on the other side, and then I pulled out my 6-foot level to make sure the whole thing was straight and put another nail in. From there, I just put a few more brads along the top edge just to keep everything secure. You'll see I'm using the level here again, and that's because despite cherry picking for the straightest pieces, they weren't perfectly straight, so I just used it as a straight edge here. Next up is the sides. So I got one side vertical and then just brad nailed the top. And then on the second side, I brad nailed the top and the bottom, so I would have another vertical surface to push the bottom piece up against. So you'll see here I'm getting the top, and then I'm going to brad nail the bottom. So when we're installing the bottom piece, the bottom horizontal piece, we can push it against that corner, make it nice and tight. And then the left-hand side trim, we can squeeze in and then brad nail the bottom corner, making that corner nice and tight as well. And then it's just all about infilling the middle with brad nails so it stays nice and straight. And again, using the level just to make sure it's not a wavy mess across the bottom. And then one more time around the whole frame, just infilling the middle and some spots that I think need a little bit more support. And then it's time for finishing touches. I fill all the little holes with just a tiny touch of drywall compound, and then I'm going to run over the whole thing with just some touch-up paint, and everything blended in quite nicely after that. It's time to move on to the more decorative and accent portions of this build. I had this old corkboard lying around, and while it was kind of fake oak looking, I thought if I painted it to match the room, we could put all sorts of little baby knickknacks on it, and it would just be a fun little piece. So wherever possible, I like to try and reuse or clean up old pieces to, save a little money or just upcycle something so it doesn't just get thrown out. To make this a little more personal, I found this "Love You to the Moon and Back" little cutout. I am gluing pins to the back so I can put it in the corkboard because I imagine someday baby's going to want to decorate it himself. So this way we can just take this down and other things can go on the corkboard. And then I'm going to put a quick coat of paint on it to match the frame. some extra shelves lying around, and I chose to paint these what's called silver point, and this is the non-accent wall color of the room. So the room's really just got two primary colors in it, the blue that I painted the wall, and then this silver point color for the shelves. The letters I'm sanding here, I'm also going to paint silver point. So the letters and the shelves will be the same color as the non-accent wall, and hopefully I thought it would tie the whole thing together nicely. And then it's back at the wall with the painter's tape with lots of little marks so I can make sure I can get the spacing right. I used 3M adhesive tape with the Velcro in the middle so I could take these down and then pull those paint safe tabs off the wall. I'm a little skeptical if that'll actually work years from now, but it's worth a shot. Each letter was supposed to be held against the wall for 30 seconds for the adhesive to work, but we're just going to kind of montage this whole thing for you guys. Now, some of my more eagle-eyed viewers might notice that the wall anchors are going to change color, and that's because the first ones I put up did not hold at all. So I had to put in some more substantial anchors that really held these shelves up in place because I did not want them falling onto the bed or into the crib. And in this shot, hopefully you guys can see how the shelves and Jackson really match that other wall color in the background. A couple more nails in the wall, and then the corkboard is going up. And of course we couldn't resist, so some more of the decorations have started to appear. And one final check to make sure it is perfectly centered. And here is the final result. There's Highland cows everywhere, but I'm in love with it. So hopefully you guys found this helpful and gave you some inspiration for your own projects. So thanks for watching, and we'll hopefully see you in the next one.